Have you wondered why Mr. Kent or Mr. and Mrs. Timmy do not complain about the current economic crisis? Well, that's because Mr. Kent gets his vegetables, his chicken, his cucumber, even his pawpaw right from his backyard. Mr. and Mrs. Timmy, the 2 plots of land they acquired some time ago, they turned it into an amazing farm. Think about it for a moment. If only we can be planting what we eat, we will be saving costs. And with that, I welcome you to the maiden edition of Agri-innovate, an agricultural TV show that educates and enlightens farmers, aspiring farmers, and anyone interested in farming. On today's topic, we'll be discussing or looking at the overview of farming and backyard gardening. I'm not alone in the studio. We have the privilege of having a public servant and a nurse with us. She's going to take us through her success journey, how she got into farming, and how the journey has been so far. Nurse Kosipre, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
It's a privilege having you on our maiden show.
So
I'm excited.
It's an honor too. Thank you.
So, you're a nurse and you're a farmer. What actually motivated you to go into farming?
Okay, a few things motivated me in going into farming. And one of it was that I was growing older and I needed to change my diet from eating beef. I wanted to reduce my beef intake, so I decided to go into poultry farming. As we all know, chicken is white meat. And so because of that, I needed to go into farming. And then also as a nurse, we have heard of the various chemicals that are used in producing our food. I know I cannot eliminate access to the chemicals, but I can help to reduce the quantity of chemicals that enter my body. And so because of that, I said, okay, let me go into backyard farming to produce a few food. I can't produce all, but the few that I can produce, then let me do that. And then lastly, because of the economy, the prices of things were going up by the day, and the amount one spends on food is so much. So I decided that, okay, I can help to reduce the amount spent on food by producing some of my food, and in so doing, I'm helping the family and, as we will say, helping the state and the nation at large.
Interesting. Now, when we talk about farming, people think you necessarily need to have a large portion of land for you to farm. But with modern practice, people can actually farm, of course, on an open field, greenhouse or hydroponics, even in bags and containers. And when I visited your farm, I noticed you actually planted in bags. I saw your chicks, your chicken. You also have your tomato, which you grew in these bags and yes, containers. That's quite encouraging. In short, I was excited. I also saw your native tomato.
Thank you.
So somebody prepared a meal some time ago for me, and after eating, the food was delicious. It was actually rice and stew. And then the lady told me, I should guess what she used. I was like, what? She said native tomato. You would not even know the difference. And then I saw the tomato at your backyard. In short, it was exciting. Now, knowing that you farm all of this, I would like to know what are some of the challenges you face, in your farming operation?
Now, there are a lot of challenges. I will just mention a few. And number one is the fact that we don't have archery in Bayelsa State. Or should I say we don't have much archery in Bayelsa State. We just have one. And that one, I went to buy beds there. I was not comfortable with the beds. So we say we don't have. It's because now these beds come from Ibadan. We are not there. We have agents that send the beds to us. And these agents, when they send it, they can't send anything to you. If they send bad beds to you, then that means that production of that period is gone. And that's one challenge we have, getting good breed of beds. Number two is pests. I usually don't do chemicals, just as I said. And so because I don't do chemicals, a lot of pests invade my farm. I only try to prevent them or reduce their how would I say, their intake in my farm, but I can't kill them completely because I do not use chemical. So that challenge is one thing that I have in my farm also. I think those are the major two that I can talk about now.
Okay, so so what crop do you specialize in, or what livestock?
Okay, I do broiler,
Okay.
not just poultry as a whole, but broiler farming. And for the broiler farm, we know that broilers, for people that are into broilers, you know that by 2 months, that's 8 weeks, the birds are ready for you to eat. And because it's a fast method, I don't have to wait for a very long time before I can get my meat. That's why I decided to go into broiler farming.
So at 8 weeks, that's 2 months.
Yes.
Interesting. All right, so we visited her farm and got some videos or clips for you to see. Let's have a look. Wow, your chicks, I see them, they're running about. And your chicken, they are quite big. I mean, okay, so during this festive period, chicken was quite expensive. It even some sold for 30,000.
Yes.
Did you sell some of your birds, or was it just for house consumption?
I sold a lot of my birds. My birds I sold because I do packaging. I sold up to 29,000 for one bed. Oh. And then I also had a few turkey. I also sold one turkey for 100,000.
Interesting. That's amazing. That it must be very big. So turkey is that expensive?
Yes. For the live weight, I got 15 kg for the live weight. And it was even because the woman begged me. If not, I was insisting on selling that turkey for 120,000. Oh. But she begged.
That's almost a price of goats. Mm-hmm. All right. Now, looking at your farm, have you implemented any new technology or innovation recently?
Yes, I have. There are three innovations that I've made so far on my farm. Is one, when my birds were down with cough, we call it chronic respiratory disease in the poultry language, and I've done all that I could. I don't use vaccines, I don't use antibiotics. And so I needed to give them something. After trying a few concoctions that were given to me and didn't work, I said, okay, let me try something. And I decided to mix onion. In quantity, I measured it, scent leaf, bitter leaf, ginger, garlic, and after blending it, I gave it to them. And in doing that, I got 85% improvement in that cough that they had. That was one. Two, just as you saw on the screen, most of my plants in the house are in containers and in bags. And so I need to give them the nutrients that they need. So what did I do? I have well-decomposed poultry manure. I also have some rabbits that I raise. Those rabbits are basically just for getting the poo from them. I don't do that commercial. I needed to mix these manures together, and then I used it in planting. And I saw that the yield was more than if I had used only rabbit poo or if I had only used the chicken poo. So that is one innovation that I have done. Then in this dry season where the rains are not coming regularly, I want to reduce the amount of water we used in irrigating the plants. What I did was to cut PEP bottle, this Coke bottle, I cut it, I pour hole by the sides and under it, and then I shook it inside the soil, and I just put water inside. Now this water goes straight to the roots, and these plants can receive them. I don't need to use much water in doing that. Those are the few things I've done in helping myself in my backyard farm.
Okay, interesting. So that method of you doing, that irrigation method, it's a beautiful one because, most persons having to water their crops, it's quite difficult. That way you actually save water, right?
Yes, I do that.
That's a good technology. For viewers out there, if you actually have new technology you would want to share with us, follow us on our Facebook page or social media handles. Let's know. All right. So aside your broiler and your backyard garden. Do you have an open field farm?
Yes, we do. We have a open field farm, about 5 plots of land, not in one place. We have 2 plots in one place, and then 3 plots in one place where we do cassava, we do sweet potato, we do cocoyam, we do plantain. Those are the basic ones we do there. We are thinking of going to put like some pawpaw there and then some sub there so that they can grow, and then we can be able to harvest those ones. At least we have that farm and it's giving us plantain. It's this year that we didn't get much plantain, but for the past 3 years we have not had to buy plantain from anybody. When we need plantain, we just go to the farm, harvest the little we can, and then we use it.
Now, speaking of plantain, currently, despite the fact that we plant plantain is still expensive. Why is it so?
And I would say because the number of people that are doing the plantain farm, they are not much. That is one. And what contributes to plantain being expensive too is that farmers in Bayelsa State would rather sell their plantain to outsider. If you go to Swahili market and you see the truckload of plantain that is taken to Port Harcourt, to Lagos, to northern states, it will marvel you because they buy it at a more expensive rate. So they would rather sell it outside than selling it within Bayelsa State. And then because of this perennial flood that we have, plantain is not good with flood at all. And so because the plantain is not good with flood, everybody that wants to do, they are very conscious of how they do the plantain. Those are the things that make plantain to be very expensive in Bayelsa State. Then the number one thing, things are expensive. You go to the market, everything, the price of things have escalated. And so you don't say, because me, I planted plantain, I'll go and buy salt, I'll go and buy pepper. That's one thing that makes the price to also escalate too. So
because of the high cost of things in the market, you also have to increase your cost of planting. Yes. I get to understand, because we usually ask ourselves the question. Imagine someone who plants plantain at his backyard or banana is selling. So somebody shaded banana where I live. She got the banana from her backyard. Just small, how many fingers? She said 1.5. I was like, but mama, you bought this banana, is it not from your backyard? And she told, just like you said, she said, she too, she will go to markets to buy pepper, she'll buy mangi. That these things are not cheap. The price is going up, so she too has to also increase her price.
Yes.
Well, now, how do we combat all of this? I mean, looking at how the economy is right now. Like our governor said, everybody should go back to farming. No matter, and then just as you said, and as we've seen, you don't necessarily need, a land. You can actually plant in your containers, So surprisingly, I'm trying to test if okra would work in container.
Okra works in containers. I know last year, I'm not going to still plant this year. I planted okras in my container, those my containers, my bags. And I was getting okra that I was using to eat nearly every three days. It got to a time that we were even tired of eating okra, because just as I said, we do it for only house use. Okay. But when you eat one thing repeatedly, you become tired of it. We got tired of eating okra.
Hey, I saw your water leaf too.
Yeah.
Your water leaf. So you have water leaf and you have pumpkin leaf. Soup is ready.
Soup is ready.
As soon as possible.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a good one. Now, the other day I wanted to buy cucumber. One cucumber, I was sold this 500 there. I was looking at the woman, looking at the cucumber. But I needed it because I wanted to add it to zobo I was making. Why is cucumber expensive? I thought we were actually planting cucumber now. Yes,
I would say, at least I interact with a lot of market women. Most of the cucumbers we have in Bayelsa State are farmed by Bayelsa State farmers. But just as we also know, the demand outweighs the supply. And when demand outweighs supply, what happens? There's an increase in price. So invariably, you see that there's an increase in price because of the demand that outweighs the supply. And then of recent, if all of us will know, people started using cucumber to do stew. And because they started using cucumber to do stew, the price went up. That's another reason that the price of cucumber also escalated. But at least we are sure that most of the cucumber we get in Bayelsa State are from farmers in Bayelsa State, not from outside, where other years we used to get cucumber from Aoda, we used to get cucumber from River State, from Delta State. It's not so anymore.
Now it's produced right here in Bayelsa. Yes, so the tomato, at some point, now see, you can eliminate tomato, the use of fresh tomato. And really, cucumber in stew also is interesting. So many persons opted in for cucumber and fresh pepper, tatashi, and voila, the stew is ready. Now, there are so many persons who would want to go into agriculture, but then they don't know how to go about it. What tips would you want to give them?
Okay, I would say start. Start wherever you are. Don't look at your space. Whatever little space you have, start there and then grow from there. Then get bags, get containers. You know, there was a time in my office that any broken mopping buckets, I used to take them. And people used to wonder, Ma, what do you want to use it to do? I was using them to plant back in my compound because my compound is usually waterlogged, and so I needed to plant something. So those containers were used to plant so that when rain comes, the plants are still intact. That is one. Two, after getting the bags, be patient. We need to be very, very patient. You know, gardening, farming, it teaches you patience. If you are not patient, you can't make it because you see a lot of challenges along the way. But as you see the challenges, there are also stepping stones. There are also lessons you learn from mistakes made by you, and then you grow with it. So that's what I would say. Start wherever you are. Start. Just start. And as you start, you grow on it.
You heard it. Start. Well, that's also for me. I will definitely have to start. I need to gather some sack bags and start. Let's go on this break. We'll be back.
Welcome to Agri-innovate, the show that brings the vibrant world of agriculture straight to your screen. From the latest in sustainable techniques to family-run farms that have stood the test of time, and where every harvest tells a story. Join us as we bring you the untold stories of the hardworking farmers and agripreneurs who feed Bayelsans. Ready to see where your food really comes from? Agri-innovate.
Good to have you back. It's still Agri-innovate. And my guest here, who is a nurse and a farmer, Nurse Kosipre, she has been educating us and giving us insightful knowledge on how to go about farming and backyard gardening. Well, Ma, I would also want to know, so yesterday I got a call from someone from the Ministry of Agriculture, and then he was like, Victoria, where are you? I said, I'm at home. He said, they're actually sharing fertilizer. I said, where? I said, Igbogili. Unfortunately, he himself could not get fertilizer. And then he called me, I was like, okay, so how come you didn't get? He said hoodlums came, they took some of the fertilizers and all of that. So there has been this trend where federal government or state governments would bring seedlings, farm inputs for farmers. And unfortunately, it doesn't get to the farmers. Sometimes it doesn't get to the farmers. What's your take on that?
Well, I would say most of the time, I don't want to be accusatory, but the Minister of Agric has a hand to play in it. Most times, they are the ones that distribute it amongst family and friends. That's what I would say. And then, government does not go to the farmers. Farmers in the rural area, they don't go to them. They go to political farmers. Farmers that just have the names of their farms in books so that the people they attend to most of the time. I know it will not be good for us when we have farmers that you do not attend to them and you give these things to politicians. They will not use it at all. What they will do is that they will sell it. I had an incident, just as you said, I had an incident of a lady that told me that there was a time Federal Minister of Agri brought some beds. And the cooperative people, because they gave to cooperative members, the cooperative people were looking for who to sell these beds to. They don't know how to do it. So they were looking for people to sell the beds to. And they gave them the beds and food. They were looking for people to sell those beds to. I don't know how they went about it. Another incident was another friend of mine that had a friend at Ogbia. So the friend at Ogbia called because the person knew she was rearing birds, called her, madam, somebody wants to sell feeds. Are you interested? And the person said, yes, so I am interested. She bought those feeds from those people. These are the political farmers we are talking about. This thing does not get to the real farmer. And so because it does not get to the real farmer, it does not make any impact in the society. That's the problem we are having. So if government will identify the real farmers, if you cannot get them within the Nagua metropolis, go to the villages. The villagers know the real farmers, and they will to say, okay, this person is a farmer in social and so thing, this person is a farmer in social and so thing, and then give these things, the seedlings, the fertilizers, the beds, give them to these farmers so that at least they can use it and then help the society at large. Because when we get these things, then we'll be able to sell at a cheaper rate. But when we don't get these things, I will buy my feeds. I also sell the way I got my feeds. That's what is affecting us today in Bayelsa State.
Interesting. So if you're able to get these things, it becomes easier, and then cost of the farm produce is also cheaper.
Yes.
And affordable. I mean, that way we can also save cost, because right now price of things it's increasing every day, every single day. Well, I do hope that the government, look into this and help the farmers and also the aspiring farmers like us. Well, so far you've been farming. What is the most rewarding thing you've gotten so far?
Being able to know what I eat. When we're growing, the incidence of cancer is not as pronounced as it is now. And one of the reasons we have this increased incidence of cancer is the food we take. They are all chemical, or they have chemical in them. So one joy I have in growing my food is that I know what I'm eating. My food is not having any form of chemical. My birds do not have they do not take vaccines. They don't have antibiotic residue that will, at the end of the day, translate to me eating them. That is true. Then I'm able to reduce the money I spend on food. Because when we look at the basic needs of man, food comes first. And that is one place that we spend a lot of money. So I'm able to reduce the amount I spend on food. And invariably, I'm able to have more money to spend on other things in the family. So that joy I get from being able to say, okay, I've reduced my food intake and then I know what I'm eating. It's just what I need. And that's basically why I went into farming in the first place. And
truly, it has been rewarding for you because you're definitely saving a whole lot.
Yes.
That's good. And that's interesting. Viewers, we all have a role to play. If you want to reduce costs, start farming. Just as she said, start. Just start. You'll learn through the process. You'll learn. We'll make mistakes. We'll learn. Of course, that's the best way to grow. This is how far we can go on the program. I wish we can actually go further. But remember, it is very important we start. And as our governor said, everybody should go back to the grassroots. We all should start farming. No matter how small, just start. That's your backyard, even if it's interlock, that small space, put something. If it's okra seed, you put. If it's vegetable, you put. So imagine you have to get your vegetable, your okra, and soup is ready. What if, just as she said, she doesn't even buy meat. So the other day, meat, I bought 4,000 naira meat. I was looking at the meat like, this is 4,000 naira meat. What do I do with it? Mm-hmm. So thankfully for you, you don't have to buy meat anymore.
Yes.
That's a good one. So I think, but if I want to start this broiler, can I start with 5 chicks?
You can start. Yeah, usually I have people that come to me and say, madam, I want to rear birds, but I don't know how to rear birds. So what I do, I brood the birds for them. That's keep them for like 2 weeks, because that's the danger period. Okay. I keep them for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then they come to take these birds. And a lot of, like last Christmas, a lot of people bought this type of birds for me. And during Christmas, they didn't need to go to the market to go and buy birds. They were enjoying. A lot of them, I saw them, I said, Ona not call me, Ona they shop on a meat alone, And they are even telling me, madam, we'll come back, we'll come back. So a lot of people come, you can do like that. You don't need to raise them from day old. You can buy brooded birds, whether from us farmers or even from the market. people do that.
I think I will have to do that so I can have my own chicken. You said at 8 weeks it's ready.
Very ready.
Hey, I'll be eating it bit by bit. I think we should all, it's something worth trying, right? All right. Thank you very much. We're really grateful. You've really given us an amazing insight on how to go about farming. We hope to have you, some other time.
I'll be readily available.
Good. This is how far we can go on the program. And remember, start. Just start, and surprisingly, so for me, I'm going to start. I'm going to get bags. I'm going to get soil. I can come to you for compost, right?
Yes, you can.
And I'm going to take you through the process. So I'm going to share my journey with you as soon as I start. All right. So my final take is, like I always say, start. Thanks for watching today's program. But remember, we're always showing on this station every Wednesday at 9:30. So until we see you again, for now, it's bye.